What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the greatest afternoon show in the world. That is AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 214. Let's give it a round of applause. Now, I hope everybody had a good day today. It is Wednesday, June 24th, 2026, year of our Lord, and it's time to get into it. We got a lot of things to talk about, like always. Now, this is a channel where we go over 4 or 5 topics of just things that I found that we need to review together. Why? Because the world's a crazy place and we got to find some way to navigate it. Now, I'm never going to say I'm always right. I'm never going to say I always understand everything, but I'm willing to talk about it. That's what's wrong with the world today, y'all. We need to talk about this kind of stuff. So if you ever disagree with anything I say, please leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about it. That's the best way we can solve most issues, is just talking about it. But remember, y'all, if you like this type of content, remember the best way to show your support is all you got to do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos, y'all. But you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. The first topic we got to be discussing today is we got to go to Long Island, where we got a tragic case where we talked about this before, but we got some monsters facing a judge. Yes, we got the murder of a 7-year-old by some monsters. Now, let's a little breakdown, but basically, we got a 7-year-old who was murdered after she was placed in the house by CPS, and it looks like all 3 generations have been charged. And they now are facing a judge. So let's get over into it and see what we can find out. Remember, we'll look at a few videos and then we'll go over into an AI breakdown just to get a full picture of the case. Remember, like I said, if you like this type of content, hit that like button, y'all. But let's jump into it and see what we can find out.
Now to shocking new details in the death of a 7-year-old girl from Long Island, allegedly tortured to death. The latest information is simply heartbreaking and very difficult to listen to. Court documents filed in Suffolk County Supreme Court include text messages detailing the abuse, and the 3 women accused of torturing and killing the child appeared in court today. Pix 11's Nicole Johnson with the very latest.
Supporters and family members, some wearing pink T-shirts and holding signs, walked out of a courtroom emotionally drained after hearing the latest details in the case.
It's hard. It's very hard. It's just too much. It's heartbreaking.
They entered the courtroom hoping for answers. They walked out carrying even more heartbreak that gripped everyone who knew 7-year-old Jordan Duncan.
Justice for Jordan, that's right.
Jordan died last December. Police say she was placed with her father's fiancée, 50-year-old Emily Kelly, while he served prison time. But instead of caring for the child, prosecutors say Kelly, her 75-year-old mother, and 24-year-old daughter took part in abusing and torturing little Jordan. Court documents show the child endured unimaginable treatment, that Kelly sent text messages detailing the abuse and even recorded videos right up to Jordan's death. The child suffered more than 90 injuries on her body, including stab wounds, and missed 40 days of school.
Someone needs to suffer. You heard what they said, 90 injuries. She suffered a stab wound, and the fact that she could miss 40 days of school. Where were the school administrators who are supposed to watch out for this type of stuff? And remember now, the main important part about this is that she was placed with them by CPS, Child Protective Services. Yes, Child Protective Services placed her with her dad's fiance while he was in prison. I wonder why anybody else couldn't take her. But they abused this girl to death. And it sounds like CPS didn't check one time on her.
It was not reported. Nobody checked on her. Nobody followed up on anything. If a child misses 3 days of school or 4 days of school, they're supposed to come with a doctor's note.
Kelly faces the most serious charges, second-degree murder. Her mother faces manslaughter, and daughter is charged with unlawful imprisonment and endangering the welfare of a child. The case pulled the community together, hearing about how this little girl died.
Beautiful girl. Yeah, we love her so much and we miss her, and we wish she was here.
Jordan's mother was also in court. She could not speak, but is surrounded by love and support.
This type of thing has a domino effect, and if it affects one of us, it affects us all as a community.
What happened to Jordan is also raising a disturbing comparison to some of the most severe child abuse cases.
This case reminds me so much of Lisa Steinberg, Thomas Valva.
We think that she's been overcharged. She's been charged with what's called the depraved indifference homicide. That requires cruel and wickedness.
All of the defendants.
Did he just say that they think she's been overcharged? If anything, this sounds like cruel and indifferent to me. But the mother did show herself. So I wonder why she couldn't go with the mother. Is she not allowed to be with the mother? Does she have certain issues to where she couldn't take care of the child herself?
Are back in court for different court dates in August, and supporters say they will be here as well.
Absolutely. This is a tragic case, y'all. Let's go over to one more video just to see if they tell us some more details.
Feeling her, it was so long of a torture. So long of a torture, so many days after day after day.
Right now at 5:30, did the system fail her? New information on the death of a little girl who prosecutors say was tortured. Good evening, I'm Christine Johnson.
Welcome back. I'm Jessica Moore. Emotions ran high today in a Suffolk County courtroom as 3 generations of the same family faced a judge, all accused in the shocking death of that 7-year-old girl.
Jordan Duncan had been placed in their Bayport home by court order. As Carolyn Gussoff reports, the courtroom was packed with heartbroken supporters of the child.
She always had a smile on her face, always happy.
Jordan Duncan's smile was on dozens of pink shirts as family and supporters packed the courtroom. They came seeking answers. How the 7-year-old was placed by a judge in the home of Emily Kelly, where prosecutors allege a year of torture led to her December death.
How could this child have all these things going on and nobody see it? You know, were they blind?
Prosecutors allege repeated abuse. The child tied up in a bathtub and videotaped. An autopsy documented more than 90 injuries. She missed 40 days of school. In each case, Kelly provided an excuse. Sources say school officials did not report and were not required to report her absences to authorities without suspicions of abuse.
The system failing her, it was so long of a torture. So long of a torture, so many days after day after day.
Jordan.
Okay, so even if the school wasn't required to report this, her missing 40 days, where is CPS during this whole situation? They said 90 injuries can't be hidden. Or are they not supposed to get the child checkups regularly? Or maybe it was only a year, but maybe it wasn't time for this is crazy.
His mother had lost custody amid alleged drug use. Her father incarcerated. Sources say the child was placed with Kelly, the child's father's fiance, with his approval.
No kid should ever suffer the way my granddaughter suffered. CPS needs to answer. The schools need to answer.
Kelly, her mother Barbara Renner, and daughter Elisa Seymour are all charged. Kelly's accused of depraved indifference murder.
That requires cruel and wickedness. We don't think that this conduct of my client even comes close. The fact that she's charged along with her mother and her daughter is shocking to her.
One at a time, each woman stood silent in front of the judge. Cameras were not allowed after their attorneys argued that the public seeing them in jail clothing and handcuffed would harm their defense. The child's
Okay, so torturing a 7-year-old is not in depraved indifference. All right.
Families compiled a legal team to investigate what went wrong.
Those who were assigned to protect her didn't.
For now, supporters are focused on the little girl who will never grow up.
We love her so much and we miss her.
And seeking justice. In Riverhead, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS News, New York.
Forever 7 years old. God, let's get over into this AI breakdown just to wrap it up and get more details about this whole case. So as we know, the torture death of 7-year-old Jordan on Long Island, New York, led to a grand jury indictment against 3 generations of women who allegedly carried out systematic abuse after the child was placed in their care. So December 2024, the Child Protective Services placed Jordan in the home with her 50-year-old Emily Kelly, the fiance of the child's incarcerated father. Kelly subsequently obtained full legal custody and guardianship in April 2025. On December 29, 2025, Kelly called 911 to report the child was in cardiac arrest. Jordan was pronounced dead at a local hospital. An autopsy conducted by a medical examiner revealed at least 90 wounds on Jordan's body. Her cause of death was ruled to be a massive infection stemming from a punctured colon of an untreated physical wound. Investigators recorded digital evidence from Kelly's cell phone and cloud storage accounts showing that the abuse was systematically documented. The evidence revealed prolonged restraint, including being tied up inside the bathtub, severe physical trauma, sharp force injuries, and forced the child to kneel naked in feces. Text messages sent between the family members explicitly detailing the coordinated and sadistic punishment. Over 40 days of missed school between January and June 2025, which Kelly hidden using fabricated notes detailing fake family deaths, severe illness, and a trip to Disney World. You lie and say you're taking your child to Disney World just so you can torture her? Three family members living in the home were arrested and pleaded not guilty to all charges. So we know Emily Kelly, that's the stepmother. She was indicted on charges of second-degree murder, first-degree reckless endangerment, and first-degree unlawful imprisonment and endangering the welfare of a child. She's being held on $5 million cash bail, $10 million bond. Investigators later revealed that Kelly was previously linked to a domestic violence death of her 1-year-old son in 1997. Wow. And they placed her. Who? Huh? CPS is. I'm so confused. And then we got the mother of that fiance. She was charged with second-degree manslaughter and child endangerment. She is held on $50,000 cash bail. And then we got the 24-year-old daughter, also indicted on facing charges related to the abuse and death. The tragedy has provided intense public outrage regarding an oversight failure by Child Protective Services and the school-mandated reporters. Lawmakers and community advocates have launched formal reviews into how CPS allowed the placement with an unrelated caretaker and failed to catch the extreme signs of medical neglect and school truancy. Activists continue to organize rallies demanding systematic accountability. So we know that all of them had pleaded not guilty. So new details of the fabricated cover-up. So it revealed that Emily Kelly actively lied to both the school district and her incarcerated father to mask the torture. Phone records revealed that Kelly lied to Jordan's father, telling him the 7-year-old was experiencing severe mental breakdowns and had been admitted to the psychiatric ward. Investigators confirmed this was complete fabricated. In May of 2025 alone, Jordan missed an entire month of school. Kelly provided excuses of severe illness, fake deaths in the family, and a fictitious trip to Disney World. So you telling me the school doesn't check? I'm assuming she gave them some kind of fake paperwork, but you don't call the doctor to confirm, or you just go with what documents you're given? Okay. The autopsy report finalized for the court proceedings detailed the most of Jordan's 90 distinct injuries were inflicted in the final 48 hours leading up to her death. Furthermore, medical experts identified at least 20 old healed wounds, including severe scarring across her body, consistent with whippings by the use of a folded cord. The defense attorneys of the three women outlined their strategy. So Emily's defense attorney asserted her innocence, stated that they would vigorously fight the charges. The defense shifted blame towards the victim, claiming that Jordan suffered prolonged psychological struggles and that the sharp force injuries were results of self-harm. Now, do I think everyone is entitled to a defense? Yes. But how can a man, a truly good person, come up here and just say that the 7-year-old stabbed herself multiple times, and all of this is all just because of her own self-harm? Wow. Then we got the mother's attorney argued that the 75-year-old grandmother suffers from dementia and was not active caregiver to the child. Now, if I remember correctly, when we first talked about this case, they got recordings of when they was torturing her. You have the mother in the background just singing. I said that right, singing. And then we got the younger daughter. Her attorney stated that she denied all allegations, asserting her lawful imprisonment charges stem strictly from an isolated 3-day window in July 2025. So did she unlawfully imprison her and leave her in a cage in July 2025? So the courtroom was packed with families and friends, emotional boiled over following the hearing, culminating in a large physical fight in the court parking lot between the victim's family and supporters, requiring court officers to intervene. What? Supreme Court Justice John ordered the prosecution to turn over all discovered evidence and a bill of particular to defense. The next scheduled court date is set for August 6th. This is one of the worst cases I have ever talked about today. 7 years old. You were placed in a home that was supposed to keep you safe because your father's incarcerated, and I guess they decided to place you with the future stepmother. But she already had some bad history with the death of a child back in 1997. And then there was no love at all in that household for her. No love for a 7-year-old child who didn't do anything. And they all just watched it happen. All of it. Now, if the mother truly has dementia, I don't really know what to say about that. But the daughter, 24, you know what's right and wrong. You deserve to be right there with your mother. This is a crazy case, y'all. We will keep up with this, but let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely tragic. Now we got to pivot over to another tragic case. Tragic case where we got to go over to a mother has just been found not guilty for the drowning death of her child by the way of insanity, which was caused by COVID-19. Yes, I said that. 15 months. Let's get over into this and see what we can find out about this whole case, y'all. We got a few videos to look at. And then, of course, we'll go over into that AI breakdown just to see what else we can find out. Remember, y'all, like I always say, if you like this type of stuff, leave that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell, y'all. Let's get into this next topic and see what else we can talk about. Remember, y'all, tell me what your thoughts and tell me if you disagree with anything I said. Let's jump into it.
Happening right now, we are getting a look at new body cam footage. It shows the moments after a woman allegedly drowned her infant daughter and stabbed 2 other people. The video surfacing as Precious Bland's trial gets underway. CBS News Miami's Steve Majuri is your reporter in the courtroom as her defense was put to the test.
God is coming back. Please listen to me.
Precious Bland's legal team showed this body camera footage in court. It was captured while first responders were tending to her after police say they found her 15-month-old daughter dead in a bathtub in 2021.
Satan is a deceiver.
This was a person that was suffering from hallucination, that was suffering from a mental defect.
Prosecutors charged Bland with murder after police say she confessed to drowning her daughter. Bland's attorney Larry Hanfield argued she was having a psychotic episode due to having COVID-19 that day. Both his expert and the prosecution's expert agreed with that theory in their evaluations of Bland.
This was not no good. This was voices that was telling her and directing her what to do.
Bland couldn't even keep her eyes open as prosecutors gave their opening statements.
She was verbalizing that the baby needed to stop breathing. So she was holding her down to make sure that she stopped breathing.
The prosecutor argued in court that Bland knew what she was doing that day.
COVID is not the line in this case. There will be no clear and convincing evidence that COVID made this defendant drown her 1-year-old daughter.
Bland's husband, Evan, took the stand and said Bland was acting unusually that day.
I'm a victim, my family's a victim, and yeah, I mean, Precious is a victim of this as well.
Bland's attorney says that he will not accept any scenario where his client is institutionalized because he says both evaluators deemed that wasn't necessary and because her attorneys are arguing temporary insanity. Bland's attorney expects this trial to be wrapped up in a few days.
Now, I can't really say anything if the medical examiner and everyone is saying that it's possible for, I didn't know it was possible, but it's possible for COVID to cause insanity. Now, I've said this several times before. Insanity or not, you have to be in a mental, you need to be put into a mental institution. At least that's my thoughts. You can not avoid jail if you were truly insane, but I think you need to be inside of a mental facility, maybe the rest of your life. But I mean, some people might disagree with that. Let's get over into this because she was found not guilty.
Now at 6, we begin with breaking news. A South Florida mother who admitted to killing her 15-month-old daughter has been found not guilty by reason of insanity in what attorneys called a first-of-its-kind case. The judge agreed with the defense that Precious Bland was experiencing a COVID-related psychotic break at the time of the killing. Good evening, I'm Lauren Pastrana. Thank you for joining us. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones is your reporter live at the Miami courthouse with these details. Chelsea.
Lauren, there was an audible gasp, then a cry from Precious Bland when the judge ruled that she was not in her right state of mind when she drowned her baby and then stabbed her husband and eldest daughter.
Tears filled the courtroom as the mother who admitted to killing her baby daughter was found not guilty by reason of insanity following a 2-day bench trial.
As to count 1, aggravated manslaughter, the defendant is not guilty by reason of insanity. As to count 2, attempted murder in the first degree, the defendant is not guilty by reason of insanity. And as to count 3, attempted murder in the first degree, the defendant is not guilty by reason of insanity.
Moments after learning she would not be convicted, Precious Bland spoke briefly outside the courtroom.
God is good. This doesn't bring back my daughter. I'm thankful. I love my children.
State prosecutors tried to prove that this mother of 6 killed her 15-month-old because she told investigators her husband was cheating.
The voices and the COVID psychosis is a fabrication and an embellished story.
The judge didn't buy it.
That theory, it doesn't make sense to me that she decided to do all the things that she did, going to all the neighbors, calling her family members, putting the kids in the water, all of it because she was angry due to some perceived infidelity.
Her lawyers argued Bland was overcome by the voices in her head and had a COVID-induced psychotic break.
Satan is a deceiver.
There's so much that we don't know about COVID, and this was, one of the first cases in the country to go to trial on COVID being in the defense to murder.
Bland spent 3.5 years behind bars before being released about a year ago. Now, after a judge cleared her of criminal responsibility in her daughter's death, she says she's focused on moving forward.
Just ready to get my life back together, my husband and my children, and just move forward.
Okay, so she spent 3 years in prison and then she was out. Now, if she truly went insane because of COVID and this is the reaction to it, I can see her not getting any more jail time. But I think she still needs to spend some time in a mental facility just to, yeah, she's going through all the, but she needs to spend some time in a mental facility. That's my thinking. Now, I might just be, because I don't really understand it, but what are your thoughts, y'all? And do you think it's possibility that she was making everything up?
There will be a status hearing on Thursday to determine what the conditions for release will be for Precious Bland. Live inside the Metro Justice Building.
This is a crazy situation, y'all. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to wrap it all up. I did see a little something crazy in there, but let's get into it and see what else we can find. So as we know, we got the South Florida mother. Precious was found not guilty by reason of insanity on June 23rd after a judge ruled that the severe COVID-19 induced psychotic break left her unable to understand her actions when she drowned her 15-month-old daughter. So we know the judge delivered the verdict following a 2-day bench trial. In August of 2021, she drowned her toddler in a bathtub and attacked her husband and teenage daughter at the home. At the time of the tragedy, Bland was screaming that COVID was going to kill everyone and that she needed to baptize her family to save them. Legal experts noted that this is likely the first case in the United States that successfully used COVID-19 induced psychosis defense for murder. Remarkably, even the prosecution's own psychological evaluator agreed that her temporary virus-triggered mental break met Florida's strict legal standard for insanity. Even the prosecution agreed with this, or the prosecution, a psychologist. Unlike the typical insanity defense attorney stated that the psychological evaluators from both the state and defense determined that the institutionalizing her is not necessary. That the court has scheduled a future hearing to establish the exact parameters of her conditional release and ongoing mental health treatment. Okay, she got to keep getting mental health treatments. I mean, that's good. That's good. But let's go into, there's more details about this. So let's go more in details about the attack itself. So on August 23rd, she contracted COVID-19 and rapidly descended into severe acute psychosis. She began screaming that Jesus was coming and that the virus was going to kill us all, and that her family had to immediately be baptized in the bathtub. She held her 15-month-old daughter underwater until she was unresponsive. When her husband, Evan, tried to intervene, she ordered one of their children to grab a knife. Bland then used the weapon to repeatedly stab her husband and her 16-year-old daughter. When Miami police arrived at the West Little River home, they found the toddler face down and unresponsive in a bathtub filled with bloody water. Bland was also suffering from a severe self-inflicted stab wound. 4 others, children under the age of 11, were present in the house during the attack but were physically unharmed. So we know that the defense presented evidence that she had a exemplary background with no prior history of mental illness, and she was highly decorated U.S. Navy officer who served in Iraq and had previously worked on a security detail for President George W. Bush. Wow. Prosecutors aggressively challenged the COVID defense during the 2-day bench trial, calling the psychosis fabricated and an embellished story. They emphasized the body cam footage and verbal confession where Bland explicitly stated that she held the baby down to ensure she stopped breathing, arguing that she possessed an understanding of her actions. The trial pivoted entirely on the psychological evaluation. Both the defense expert and the prosecution's own state appointed agreed that they satisfied the strict insanity defense. And as we know, the judge ruled that she is not guilty. Despite the horrific violence that night, Evan took the stand during the trial, identified himself and the children as victims, but adding Precious is a victim of this as well. Bland spent roughly 3.5 years in jail before being placed under house arrest on a $10,000 bond. Following her acquittal, she walked out of courtroom a free woman because medical experts deemed institutionalization unnecessary. She is set to return to court purely to finalize her conditional release and outpatient psychiatric treatment. Wow. Now the father standing by her, it sounds like. But is there any possibility that she's making this all up? That she truly wanted someone dead? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. All we can go off of now is both. It's a big thing if both the state appointed and the defense's psychologist said that she was suffering temporary insanity due to COVID. It's a tragic situation no matter how you look at it. We got a 15-month-old child is gone. And we know the children have been scarred. Like I said, if the psychologist said that she was truly insane, okay, I'm fine with her not getting jail time. But I'm happy to see that she needs some kind of outpatient, she needs some kind of mental health treatments, and just to make sure people keep checking on her to make sure nothing slips back. Now, if that's outpatient or inside of a facility, I guess that's up to the judge himself. But she can't just be left to walk and not check in with anyone. At least that makes sense to me. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. This is a tragic case, but this is the first COVID insanity defense that's been used in the United States successfully. Like I said, let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said, y'all. Let's pivot now into our next topic we're going to be discussing today. And we got to go. Let's get it over. Let's go. We got to go over into, we got a probation officer. We got a probation officer. We got a female probation officer who is accused of leaking information to a fentanyl trafficking ring. Fentanyl trafficking ring. Yes, she needs to be under the jail. I've said this several times. People who traffic fentanyl, that deadly drug, needs to never get out of jail. Let's get over into this. We got a few videos to look at, and then of course that AI breakdown. Like I always say, y'all, if y'all like this type of stuff and you want to show your support, all you got to do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the video. Let's jump into this.
Right now, a former probation officer is behind bars in Orange County, accused of helping drug traffickers avoid getting caught.
Investigators say that she used her access to a confidential database to tip them off. Well, she's Bob Payson is live at the Orange County Jail. Bob, she wasn't even supposed to be able to get into that system.
Yeah, in fact, it looks like the state agency that she worked for screwed up and didn't cut off her access to that system, even after she was fired 4 years ago. And that let her see secret information that only law enforcement is supposed to see. Now, the sheriff's office gave us this video of that suspect, 32-year-old Crystal Lawson, being taken to jail. She used to work as a juvenile probation officer, and while on that job could log into a system that contains active arrest warrants and documents. Detectives say they started investigating a group trafficking fentanyl last year, and they realized that someone was leaking secret documents to members of that group, possibly warning them that the cops were looking for them. They say they checked the database and found someone logged in as Lawson had searched up those members' names, and they say one person connected to that drug ring was Lawson's father. Her arrest report says, quote, Lawson's own father bragged to the drug trafficking organization members that his daughter could find out when people had warrants. They also say her actions had consequences, and quote, these leaks resulted in lost evidence, unrecovered assets, and at least one flight to avoid arrest or prosecution. Lawson only worked for the State Department of Juvenile Justice for about 8 months back in 2022, so her access to that system should have been cut off long ago, but investigators say, quote, the department made an apparent clerical error upon her termination and did not terminate her CCIS access or notify CCIS of her termination.
Your own father, your father's bragging about what you did. Luckily, they was able to, I mean, they would have most likely found it anyway or came investigating you anyway because you logged in under your credentials. But your father is bragging to the members of the criminal organization that you're the one who's helping. I mean, I do love stupid criminals. Let's keep going into this though.
And the reports say at least one lawyer also got access to those secret documents. Lawson is now here at the Orange County Jail facing more than 100 criminal charges related to that unauthorized access to that system. Her bail is set at more than $1.1 million. She should go in front of a judge here later on today.
You threw your whole life away. It's crazy, y'all. Let's get into this next one.
Authorities in Orange County, Florida, knew they had a problem on their hands when drug traffickers in the area kept getting wind of arrest warrants before the police could move in and get them.
Wonder how that happened. So it turns out that someone on the inside was tipping them off. And now that alleged leaker is the one in cuffs. Newsmax crime correspondent Jason Matera has the story.
It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Crystal Lawson was supposed to be one of the good guys. Back in 2022, she was a juvenile probation officer. But after losing that job, officials say she somehow still had access to Florida's non-public criminal database, the one marked for governmental use only.
I just don't know how that access would have been maintained. It's just beyond me.
And investigators say Lawson used that unauthorized access to leak active arrest warrants to members of a known drug trafficking organization. The former probation officer allegedly conducted a whopping 246 searches in Florida's comprehensive case information system from January to May of this year. Authorities say these leaks resulted in lost evidence, unrecovered assets, and at least one flight to avoid arrest. To Jeff Stinson, president of Florida's Fraternal Order of Police, this wasn't just about investigations that may have been compromised. It was also about officers potentially being put in danger.
Officers lose the element of surprise. If a criminal network knows law enforcement is coming, that allows them to set up on our deputies and our law enforcement officers and our federal agents.
They are going to throw the book at her. I mean, we understand that. At least I think I do, because the simple fact that many police officers could have easily died. You're helping a known criminal organization get the heads up on when police are going to be at a certain location to raid or to get a drop on a criminal. They could have easily set up an ambush and killed massive amounts of officers. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going into this.
But Lawson's alleged criminal activity was also personal. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, her father was an associate of the very drug crew she is accused of tipping off. Her dad, known on the street as Mel Baby, allegedly bragged that his daughter could find out when people had warrants. Jeff Stinson says that's the kind of betrayal, if true, that puts the public at risk.
We're letting fentanyl that's hurting our children, it's hurting our youth in this country. We're giving them a tip on when law enforcement's going to take action. That's unacceptable.
Authorities say there was one more person Crystal Lawson was repeatedly looking up, herself. And on June 18th, the 32-year-old suspicions became a reality when the Orange County Sheriff's Office placed her under arrest.
Anytime somebody has any inside information, it's hurtful to not only the community, but to law enforcement officers trying to protect this community.
Crystal Lawson now faces 113 felony counts for allegedly accessing Florida's criminal database. And we're told that the investigation into this breach and the damage it may have done to ongoing cases is still active. And that investigation includes getting to the bottom of how Lawson's credentials were still active after she was no longer a probation officer.
Yeah, it does 100% need to be investigated of why she still had access so long after she was fired. But like you said, she needs to be charged as a national security threat. That is crazy. You know how many people could have died from this? Let's get over into this AI breakdown, y'all, just to wrap it all up and get a little bit more details about this whole story. So as we know, Crystal Lawson, a 32-year-old former juvenile probation officer in Orange County, Florida, was arrested after being accused of using restricted law enforcement database to leak confidential information. She was hired by the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice in February 2022 and was terminated later that year following an unrelated battery arrest. So despite her termination, a clerical error by IT and Human Resources Department left her database credentials active. So between January and May 2026, she used that system 106 times. So you mean to tell me they don't do checks of who all has access to the system from 2022? So investigator states that Lawson used her access to look up active criminal investigations, identified co-defendants, and track active arrest warrants. Her father reportedly bragged to the members of the drug trafficking organization that his daughter could check the system for active warrants. Like I've said before, I love stupid criminals who love to give out information. So according to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, the leak information severely disturbed active police inquiries, resulting in lost evidence, unrecovered arrest, and at least one suspect fleeing to temporarily evade arrest. So she is currently being held. She faces 113 felony counts of computer crimes, and her bail was set at $10,000 per count for a totaling $1.14 million. Yeah, she's not getting out. So I'm assuming 10%. So yeah, she's not getting out. So each felony count carries a maximum penalty of up to 5 years in prison, meaning Lawson faces theoretically 565 years in prison if she is convicted on all counts. 100%, Raymond. She is endangering the entire city. And this is someone who they have to lock up. But let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy situation. But we will keep up with this to see exactly how many years she gets. Because I can't see her getting off. Of course, they're going to plead not guilty, but we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let's see what you say, Raymond. Since the women have become heavily represented in these law enforcement roles or government oversight agencies, we are witnessing a complete collapse in local government services. I mean, a lot of crazy things have been happening. Absolutely crazy. Now we're going to go over into one more topic. We're going to switch over. This is a weird case that I wasn't expecting to see, but we have a driver who claims that his Tesla, while it was in self-driving mode, ended up crashing into a house and killing an elderly woman. Who's to blame? Tesla or him? Let's get over into it and see what this whole thing is about, y'all. We've got a few videos to look at, and then, of course, we'll go over into that AI breakdown just to see what else we can. But let's jump into it, y'all. See what we can find out. Remember, the best way to show your support, y'all, is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. Let's get into it.
Tonight, this fatal Tesla crash now the focus of a federal traffic safety investigation. A doorbell camera capturing the moments before a Tesla Model 3 slams into a home in Katy, Texas. Police say 76-year-old Martha Avila was standing in her front room when the accident happened Friday night.
That's where my mom was.
Officials say she was flown to the hospital where she was pronounced dead.
This is how it came in.
Her family sharing videos from inside the home on Facebook showing the devastation left behind.
This is their room where they play and they do homework. Everything got damaged.
The driver, Michael Butler, told authorities he was using an automated driving assistance system at the time of the crash, but it's not clear which specific feature the driver had engaged.
We're still evaluating what caused that car to fail to control its speed just before this crash.
Tesla's Model 3s come equipped with traffic-aware cruise control, which maintains a set driving speed and following distance. Drivers can also subscribe to FSD, or full self-driving mode, that has automated stopping and turning. Both modes are intended for use by a fully attentive driver, according to Tesla's website. Earlier this year, Tesla officially discontinued autopilot in the U.S., a different feature that has been linked to deadly incidents.
Right there. Right there.
Last year, a federal jury found Tesla partly liable in a 2019 Florida car crash that killed a pedestrian and left another person badly injured when the car was in autopilot mode. Tesla has not responded to multiple requests for comment on this crash.
Oh, so what is the difference between the full self-driving and the autopilot? That's my main question, because I don't remember hearing anything about this. So autopilot they no longer have that in the United States? We'll have to look that up in the AI breakdown. Let's keep going.
And Aaron Gilchrist joins us now. I mean, this story is a nightmare on many levels, Aaron. And as you say in your piece, there was no official statement from Tesla, but we do know that Elon Musk is posting about this now.
Yeah, in the last hour or so, Musk responded to a posted headline on X, and we can show you what he had to say in response to this headline about this crash having happened. He wrote, "Yes, this makes no sense. FSD, or the full self-driving feature that the Teslas have, drives slowly through neighborhood streets, and this was a high-speed crash." And then just below that, there was a response to Musk's post by another leader at Tesla, a gentleman who develops a lot of the AI technology for Tesla. He said, "Yep, in this case, the driver manually overrode self-driving by pressing the accelerator all the way to 100% of the accelerator pedal in this residential area. They reached a speed of 73 miles per hour during the crash and had the accelerator pressed even after the crash." Obviously, this is not coming through an official channel.
Yeah, because I don't know where he got that information from. I don't know if they got because you know how AI is. They might got some secret where they can figure out what exactly he was doing, but I don't think he should have. First of all, I don't think Elon Musk should have commented on this and just let the investigation through. But you definitely should have put out all that details. But this is crazy, y'all. But it did not look like a full self-driving mode, because I've seen several Teslas, but I've never seen one going that fast in full self-driving mode. This is crazy.
Communication from leaders at Tesla, Ryan, but it's something that, of course, is raising questions about who exactly was responsible or what was responsible for this crash that ended up killing a grandmother.
Yeah, he seems to be speaking about it as if they have that data and information. It would be interesting to see if they'll present that, if there becomes some sort of an investigation or trial. But let's talk more about the Tesla driver and what type of charges he could face.
Yeah, at this point, we know that the driver in this accident was hurt pretty badly. He was taken to the hospital by ambulance. We haven't gotten an update on his condition or whether he was quickly released from the hospital. We also, at this point, there are no charges that have been filed against him in this accident. The sheriff's office in Harris County, Texas, just outside, happened just outside Houston, did say that they are trying to talk to people who are knowledgeable about Teslas to try to get a better understanding of the automated features of these vehicles so that they can continue their investigation. And we noted as well, Ryan, that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has said it is launching a special investigation, a special crash investigation is what they call it, to try to figure out exactly what happened here, whether this was something that was mostly human error or human responsibility, or was a fault of the vehicle that was involved here, Ryan.
So this is a crazy situation, y'all. 100%. I do think that the driver did some kind of hack or anything like that to override it, because I've never seen something that fast in full self-driving mode. But if it wasn't, and it truly is Tesla's fault, somebody's getting a big payday, boy. And Tesla stock about to drop. Let's get over into this next video and see what else it tells us.
New at 10, the family of a woman who was killed when a speeding Tesla barreled into her home is suing the car maker as well as the driver.
As we told you over the weekend, Harris County deputies say the driver told them his car was in autopilot mode. It's a claim Tesla denies. ABC 13's Luke Jones spoke to the family's attorney about the case.
Attorneys strongly suspect the car was in autopilot mode and malfunctioned. Now, they readily admit they have no evidence of this, but they say by filing the lawsuit, that allows them to conduct their own investigation. Tesla, of course, would have to turn over its data as part of the discovery process, and should ultimately it be found that the company isn't responsible, attorneys say they're happy to drop them from the lawsuit. Days after this fatal Tesla crash, family of the elderly woman killed are suing Tesla and the car's driver. 76-year-old Martha Avila struck by the car when it came barreling into her home on Blooming Park Lane Friday.
I didn't even know it was a car. I thought the ceiling fell in on the kitchen.
The driver, identified by the Harris County Sheriff's Office as 44-year-old Michael Butler, taken to the hospital. Investigators say he told them he was operating the Tesla in autopilot mode, although the sheriff's office says their investigation has yet to unearth evidence of a mechanical malfunction. But in the lawsuit, attorneys write, quote, "The vehicle was defective in design and unreasonably dangerous." They did not provide evidence.
We're still in a fact-finding mode, but mainly we're alleging a product defect and a failure to warn on Tesla's part.
Tesla has ignored all requests for comment, but the company's vice president of AI wrote on X, quote, "The driver manually overrode self-driving by pressing the accelerator all the way to 100% of the accel pedal and had the accelerator pressed even after the crash."
Tesla's statement, in my opinion, is a little bit fishy. If that were the case, he would have been, had his foot on the accelerator all the way through the crash until the vehicle came to a stop. If that's the case, he should have a shattered leg.
Moments before the crash, the Tesla can be seen driving down the street with what appear to be hazard lights on. We stopped by the driver's home, but no one came to the door. Yesterday, Martha Avila's son-in-law, who's named as a plaintiff in the lawsuit, urged the public not to rush to judgment.
Nothing's been proven yet, and the thing is like everybody online has jumped into conclusions.
The lawsuit demands Tesla preserve its black box data, autopilot system data, and camera footage, likely key pieces of evidence in the ongoing federal probe of the crash. Luke Jones, ABC.
Yeah, I 100%. Of course, they're going to keep the footage, because if they don't, that's just going to make them look bad. But I think all this is going to work out, because I can't see it to where this was that bad of a malfunction, where it killed an elderly woman. There had to be some kind of driver error. Now, they might sue them for him being able to do the hack in the first place and drive that fast. They might say there should have been some warning signs, but we'll have to wait to see what Tesla's lawyers have to say about that. Let's get over into this AI breakdown, y'all, just to see what else we can finish up, see what else we can find out. And then we also got to talk about that autopilot thing, because I've never heard that before. So we got the 76-year-old woman who was killed on Friday, June 19th, after a Tesla Model 3 crashed into her suburban home in Texas. The driver claimed that the vehicle was operating in an automatic driving mode at the time of the collision. However, Tesla has pushed back heavily, releasing the vehicle's log data. So we know that the victim is Marie, was standing in front of the playroom when the vehicle breached the house. She suffered catastrophic injuries and airlifted to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead. The driver, Michael Butler, 44, was traveling down the residential street when he failed to maintain a single lane, left the roadway, and smashed through the brick house at high speeds. He was injured and hospitalized, but showed no signs of intoxication and is cooperating with police. The crash occurred in a residential neighborhood at a suburb roughly 30 miles from Houston. So like we know, the driver claimed that it was operating with a automatic driving assistance, autopilot, or full self-driving activated. The Tesla head talked about, we already know what he said. And we got that ongoing investigation. So I need to know. Is it banned in U.S.? I said FSS. No. So Tesla Autopilot was not banned in the US, but Tesla officially discontinued the autopilot feature bundled for new vehicles purchased in North America. This decision followed the decisive marketing crackdown by regulations like the California DMV, which threatened to suspend Tesla's sale of sales license unless they stop using the misleading autopilot branding. So in response, they removed the basic autopilot from new orders and shifted its software structure to push buyers towards full self-driving. Oh, okay. Now we get it. So it's the naming that made it what they wanted that to go away. So they just changed it to full self-driving. I thought, okay, I was confused, but we got the gist of it now. But is there a difference? Hold on. So the classic autopilot, so there is a difference. Hold on. The classic autopilot and the full self-driving. So we got strictly intended for highways, intended for both highways and streets, included auto seeker, automatically kept the car centered in highway lanes, traffic signals. It did not stop for stop signs or red lights. And then we got the FSD reacts to traffic and stoplights and speed limits. The driver had to manually signal and steer to change lanes. So it's like what is that? What is it called? What's the control called? I was just using it. That's great. Cruise control. It's basically like cruise control. Free and included. Yeah, it sounds basically like cruise control. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know. So if you purchase a new Tesla, it comes with a traffic aware cruise control. This is basically the basic adaptive cruise control. It matches the speed of the car in front of you, but it will not steer for you. Yeah, it's basically like cruise control, y'all. They're going to have to go through this whole investigation. I think like we talked about before, the driver did some kind of hack. But ultimately, I think it's likely on the driver's fault. I don't see them getting any money out of Tesla. But we'll have to wait and see. If their lawyers are good, they might be able to get Tesla to settle. But at that point, is it just a money-grabbing scheme from the family? No matter what, older woman did lose her life who didn't deserve to lose it. So we have to remember that the family is grieving, and then someone needs to be held responsible for it. But who is it? Is it Tesla or is it the driver? Let me know your thoughts on that situation, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. But that is it for the show today, y'all. We talked about a lot of crazy things. Like I always say, if you disagree with anything I say, please leave a comment. I'm never going to say I'm always right. I'm never going to say I understand everything. I'm just trying to have a discussion. But that is, remember, y'all, the best way to show your support is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell. But we talked about, like I said, we talked about a lot of crazy things. But y'all already know these videos will be broken down, and I will see y'all again tomorrow because we meet Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. And we try to never miss. Let me say try. I try to never miss. But like I said, that's it for now, y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. You already know I got to play that outro. Hey, come tomorrow and we can talk about more topics. But that's it for now, y'all. Peace.